everybody. Jeff Cowan here from Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk. Welcome back to the latest edition of my podcast entitled Write Service, Write Your Own Paycheck, The Path to Making Over $100,000 a Year When Writing Service in the Automotive Industry. And you know, right now at this very recording in the United States of America, Canada, and Australia, 20% of you doing that job, writing service in the automotive field, are making $100,000 a year or more. And you're loving it too, aren't you? But that means that 80% of you are not. So what do we do about that? Well, like I always say, I think the first and best step you can take is to follow me. Watch these podcasts, the past ones, this ones, future ones. Come to my workshops, use our training, take the techniques, the word tracks, and the processes, and put them in play on your service drive, and you too will quickly find yourself in the $100,000 a year or more arena. And if you've not been to that arena before, it sure is a hell of a fun one to be in, I can tell you that. Okay? So this week, I'm going to continue kind of on the path I've been on here recently, which is answering some of your questions. And a question I've been getting from a lot of you is Jeff, you've mentioned you're writing some selling books, and we wanted to ask you about those. You know, you said in a couple of podcasts ago that one of the things you've learned throughout the viruses is how few people that call themselves salespeople can actually sell. So since you're writing a book called The Forgotten Rules of Professional Salesmanship, which is a general selling book, would you mind sharing a few of those rules with me? Well, of course I would. So let's take a look at a couple of them here today, and maybe if we'll even come back, depending on how you respond to all this, next week with a few more. But let's start with one of the biggest ones that I think people have forgotten, and that is you have to be in control. You have to take control. You have to understand when you're in the service industry, like most of you are that's watching this, that when people come to you, they're coming to you for answers. They're coming to you because they don't know what to do. And even if they come in believing they know what to do, they're looking for you to validate that they're either right or they're not, and they're looking for you to direct them. Okay, so taking control is one of the, if not the most critical thing in selling, it's certainly one of the most critical. So what am I talking about here? So, for example, you know, a lot of times we'll go to places and we'll see a service advisor walk out and say, Mr. Customer, one of the services we offer is walking around your car. Do you mind if I do that? Well, that's not taking control. I mean, taking control would be to quickly turn that around and say, Mr. Customer, one of the reasons people come here, I'm assuming like yourself, is because you know that we offer a free service called the walk around at the initial write-up. And as you follow me around the car as I do this, I'm going to show you why I'm walking around your car, what I'm looking at, why I'm looking at it, and what it means to both you and your vehicle. So if you'll follow me, we'll go. See, that's taking control. That's not leaving an option. You know, Mr. Customer, that and another example, once you finish your walk around, Mr. Customer, would you like for me to talk to you about what we found now, or would you like me to get the car in the shop first? No, that's not taking control. Taking control and being in control is, Mr. Customer, now that we've walked around your vehicle, we both noticed a couple of things that caught our attention, and what I'd like to do is show you what we can do to get those taken care of, and by doing so, what the benefit would be to both you and your vehicle. So let me show you what we can do. See, that's being in control. Okay? Another thing is where I see people drop the ball that aren't in control of the situation. Mr. Customer, we offer a service here that's free to you, and it's called a multi-point inspection. If you'd like, when your vehicle's in the shop, we could do that multi-point inspection, which covers 100 different things. Would you like for me to do that? I mean, that's not taking control. You leave yourself in all those situations open for a no. If you get the no, then you can't sell. What somebody that's in control does is, now, Mr. Customer, now that we've gotten your approval to move forward on what we've already discussed, and we know what we're going to be doing once we get your vehicle into the shop. One of the things that we will be doing once we get it in the shop, in addition to diagnosing the concern you brought it in for, is we will be doing our free complimentary 100-point multi-point inspection. We like to do that. We kind of call it a report card. That way when I call you up, I can not only explain to you what we found in regard to what you came in for, but I can give you a report on the total condition of your vehicle. This is one of the things that people like about us most, is we provide this for free. So I will be calling you later. You don't give them an option. You just tell them you're going to do it. But I get these crybabies who say, well, what if somebody gets mad because you're going to do it? If they don't want you to do it, they're going to tell you that right now. But if you leave it open to them, do you want me to do it or not do it? You've got a 50-50 shot of them saying yes. But if you just tell them you're going to do it, well over 98%, that's a real number of the people won't say a word and let you do it. As a matter of fact, it will be one of the reasons they come back. So taking control is something that most salespeople don't know how to do. And it just comes from, I think it comes from confidence. And where do you get confidence? You get confidence from studying your product and knowing what to, and how to talk about it. You get confidence from studying people. You get confidence from studying how to be a salesperson and how to talk to people and following scripts. And the better you are at that, the more confidence you have, the easier it is for you to be in control. Now, in my book and the video program on that, I spend, there's no probably to it, 25 minutes on that one thing, but I think you get the idea here. So taking control would be something I would work on if I were you. Another area of big concern that most salespeople don't know how to do, and again, this is a really big problem in the auto industry. As a matter of fact, it's, when it comes to writing service, it's one of the reasons I'm writing another book called The Service Advisor's Bible for Closing Sales and Handling Objections, because I find most service advisors don't know how to handle objections. Okay, and the reason they don't know how to handle objections is because they're simply not prepared. All right. And what I've even found more interesting is the average service advisor out there that is comfortable handling objections only know 3 or 4 ways to do that. And that's insane. You're going to have tons of different objections. So how do you learn how to handle objections? Well, this is one of the easiest things to do. First, what you're going to do is I want you to write a list of the objections that you know are going to come up every day with every product you have and every service you offer and anything you have to offer. I want you to write up a list of objections for each one of those. Now you say, well, wait a minute, Jeff, we've got 20, 30, 40 different products here. We offer another 20 or 30 services on top of that. I mean, you want me to write out a list for all the objections I could get for each one of those? Yes. You want to know why? Because you're paid to handle them. I mean, how can you handle them if you're not prepared? And a lot of these are not just going to have 1 or 2 objections to these services. Most of them are going to have 5 to 10 different things people can object, and you need to write them all down. All right? So you need to write them all down so you're prepared. And then 2, you develop ways, or you come to a guy like me who's got literally hundreds of ways to handle objections. I've already got them written up for you if you want them. We've got them in a real cool pocket guide. Then what you're going to do is you're going to learn them. You're going to memorize them. You're going to role play them, and you're going to internalize them to the point, okay, where you don't know any other way to say it. So what you're looking for here, you can't even consider yourself a professional on a service drive unless you know at least 100 different ways to handle objections. Now what you're going to find out when you make your list, and you make up you write down the different objections, people are going to have these different products and services. Most of them are going to be, a lot of them are going to be the same from product to service, product to service, product to service, so it's going to get easier and easier for you. But again, you have to write them out, and then you have to learn them, you have to memorize them, you have to role play them, internalize them, and know at least 100 just to get started. And you know, a year down the road, 2 years down the road, it would not be uncommon if you're a true professional salesperson on a service drive to have somewhere between 200 and 500 different ways to handle objections, okay? Because that's what pros do. The ones that are making $100,000 a year, they know how to do that. Now, there's 3 more things you can do, and you should be doing to learn how to handle objections. But before I get into those, I want to tell you about Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk. You know, if you dial that number right there, 1-800-248-2931, you know what will happen. We'll tell you what we do. We'll tell you things like we can send a trainer to your business and put them side by side with your advisors on your service drive, where they will coach, critique, role play, and write service with your service advisors as they're helping real customers to ensure they know how to use the process. We'll tell you about how we can train managers in the same manner when we come in, how we can set up express loops and services on your service drive, how we can set up a business development center for service if you like. And we'll tell you about when we do that, how we get a 5/10 increase, usually in that first week, get your effective labor rate up in the 92 to 95% range. We're going to show you how in that same week we'll eliminate heat cases forever, and on and on and on. If you call that number or go to automotiveservicetraining.com, we'll talk to you about our virtual training. I've got all my training online. I just re-recorded it through the virus. It's the latest, greatest, freshest, best content anywhere to help you out, since most of you are recovering from the virus financially. $99 down. 3 months no payments, and 3 months you start making 12 payments once a month. That's why we want to help you out. And I had a guy write in and tell me just a couple weeks ago that their business is up 40% from using just the virtual training. Their sales are up 40%. 40%, that's a huge number. Man, 40%, right? We'll tell you about our workshops, how you can come to those this fall. We'll tell you how I will personally visit your business and do a workshop for you. But to learn any of that information, you need to dial that number right there. Now, back to what we were talking about here. We were talking about my book, the Forgotten Rules of Professional Salesmanship and that training program I got coming out, and a couple of you asked me for some points from that, because we've got 30 different things in there that people have forgotten about when it comes to being a salesperson. One was taking control, and we explained to you how most salespeople of all walks, and especially on service drives, don't know how to do that. We give you bad examples of what people do that don't take control, and then showed you the right way to do it. Then the second thing we were talking about is handling objections, and I told you need to know somewhere between 100 and 500 of them to really be good at what you do. And I don't know if I told you or not, there's 5 steps to learning how to handle objections. We covered the first 2, which was first, take each product and service you offer, write down all the objections for each one of those you're most likely to get. 2 was come up with ways to handle those objections, the right words, and we've got pocket guides here with hundreds of ways to handle objections and training programs if you need our help. You're going to learn them, you're going to memorize them, you're going to role play them, you're going to internalize them until you don't know how to say it any other way. And then we left off and I went to the commercial. Now we're back. Number 3, use them. Okay? You have to use them. It's one thing to go through all this brain damage of writing this stuff down. It's another thing to go through and find out what to say and how to respond to them and memorize and internalize it. You then have to use them. Okay? Now when you use them, I want you to do step 4. And step 4 is monitor the success you have with each one of these objections. Okay? When you said it, did it handle the objection? Or did it not handle the objection? Now, if it doesn't handle the objection the first few times you use it, don't assume it's because it's a bad way to handle it. It could be you're not delivering it the right way. Because when you get into true selling, become a true sales professional, you're going to find that it's not so much what you say, but how you say it, how you enunciate your words, the pacing of your voice inflection, and the like. So it's just like if you've ever seen these shows on like comedians, how they develop jokes. They'll develop a joke, right? And they'll say it in front of an audience maybe 10 times before they get the big laugh because they have to work on how to deliver it. It's likely to take you the same amount of time. You might have to deliver the same objection 5, 6, 7, 8 times before you get it down and it works for you. That's common. So just once you create one, just don't throw it away because it didn't work. And monitor it, because a way to handle objection today may not work tomorrow. So you have to stay right on top of it. And then 5, how do you really learn how to handle objections? Well, this is a big shocker, and I've had a lot of speakers and authors get mad at me for saying this, but I tell you, I wouldn't be telling you the truth and being honest with you if I didn't. The only true way you learn how to handle objections is you do all the things I just said, but the only way you ever learn how to really handle objections is you step up on the line in front of customers with your paycheck on the line and you handle the objection. Well, Jeff, that seems like a pretty dumb way to do it. How do I know if I'm handling it the right way or not? Well, that's easy. If you handle the objection, the customer changes their mind and says, yes, you did it the right way. If they say no, you probably didn't. Well, Jeff, that seems dangerous because it seems like it could cost myself some sales. I mean, that seems like a dangerous way to learn. Well, I guess you could look at it that way, but you could also look at it this way. If you're an average service advisor writing up 15 customers a day, that's 75 a week, that's 300 a month, and in 3 months' time you will have been in front of 900 different customers. And if you can't learn how to handle objections in 900 attempts, then you're sitting in the wrong chair, brother. I mean, it's just that easy. I mean, there's a reason they call it work. You just don't go in to write people up and hope they buy stuff. You go in prepared, knowing when you help your customers that if you do it the right way, they will buy a ton of stuff from you, and you work on getting them to buy as much as they can buy without twisting their arms or pushing them and selling them stuff they don't need. You become the best you can be so you can maximize the opportunity. That's where the work comes in. And here's what's great about it. If you're like me and you love being a salesperson, it doesn't even feel like work. So there's an example. Now again, when it comes to handling objections, you can tell I got a lot to say about that, and that would be another one on our training in the book, The Forgotten Rules. I'm going to spend a lot of time on that. And as a matter of fact, I think it's so important, I'm literally creating another training program called the Service Advisor's Bible for Closing Sales and Handling Objections, because so few people know how to do it. And to prove that, just look at the national average. It's 1.3 hours per repair orders, the national average, when it should be no less than 2.5, including oil changes. National average effective labor rate 68% when it should be 92 to 95%. I mean, why are those numbers so low? Because people don't know how to close sales and handle objections. So, hey, I hope this was valuable to you. I hope you learned something from it. And like always, if you have any questions, you can dial 1-800-248-2931 or call me direct at 317-506-1003. I'll talk to you about the stuff we talk about here for as long as you like. If I don't pick up the phone when you dial 317-506-1003, leave a message. I'll call you back within 24 hours course, I promise it. Hey, my name's Jeff Cowan. I have a company called Jeff Cowan's Pro Talk, and you have been listening to Right Service, Write Your Own Paycheck, the path to making $100,000 a year. And until I talk to you next time, I got a homework assignment for you. Just like last time, I want you to rehearse and practice and become the best salesperson you can become, so when you step in front of your customers, you can maximize that opportunity, because when you maximize it, your income level will go up, and when it goes up, you will get to enjoy a lifestyle like you've never imagined before. That's what I want you to do, because between now and the next time we do one of these podcasts, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. God bless you all. Take care, and I'll be talking to you soon.